Hey everyone, Mr. Regan here, and if you're watching this video, you've gotten to step 8 where we are graphing your bacteria population. And you've clicked on this video because we're going to be breaking down how you're going to be creating a different type of graph that we're used to. So in step B, you're going to be clicking on this link to add a bacteria population graph to your drive. Make sure once you've added it to your drive and you open it up, we follow these steps to help create our graph. Now, when you first add it to your drive, you're going to see this Google Draw here that has a very different graph than we're used to. Up to now, we've been creating histograms that show bars of how many individuals we have at different times within that population's history. Today, we're going to be looking at creating a bacteria population graph that's going to be a line graph. Though a histogram can show us a snapshot of a population at a specific time, a line graph can help us see how a population has changed over time. So, for example, it can show us if populations have increased and decreased overall. It can also show us how different variations in a population compare, which is exactly what we'll focus on. So if you notice, looking at our histogram here, at our x-axis here on the bottom, we have 6 very different times in our lab. R1s representing the reproduction times, and D1s, 2s, and 3s representing the times when we gave our bacteria doses of hand sanitizer. On the left-hand side here, you'll see numbers for our y-axis representing the number of bacteria. Now for our graph, you are going to be showing how our normal bacteria, that would be our marshmallow bacteria, how their population had changed at each of these 6 times within our lab. What was the marshmallow population when they first reproduced? What was the marshmallow population after the first dose of hand sanitizer, when they reproduced a second time, the second dose, and then when they reproduced a third time in the third dose? You're going to be using the red bars and dots to represent where the population was. Blue will represent our mutated bacteria or our Skittles bacteria. Again, same idea. And all you're going to do is you're going to drag our dots to where on the graph they were based on the number of bacteria at, for example, the first time. So maybe you had at the first one, maybe you had 11 marshmallows. And then after dose 1, maybe you had 8. So maybe the population went down from the first time they reproduced to the first dose we have. You're then going to take a line, you're going to add it here, and you're going to connect the dots to show that over time, our population, when they first reproduced and when the first dose happened, it went down. And you're going to do that for the blue as well. Maybe for the first start, you had only 4, and maybe after your dose 1, it stayed at 4. So again, dragging a line to show that the population of Skittle bacteria went from 4 to 4 after the first dose. Again, able to see that change over time. And when you're done with this entire graph, you'll be able to see and compare both your mutated population to your normal or beginning population of bacteria. Notice that we can see not only the number of bacteria when we look at our dots and line it up with that tick mark, so that would be 14 here and 38 here, but we can also see how they went up and down at each of the 6 different times. When they reproduced the first time, when we dosed them with hand sanitizer the first time, the second, and the third time as well. This data that you will be putting into your graph will come from your data table that you have here. So make sure you have this data ready to go, because once you've created your graph, then you're going to screenshot it in the graph section here. So hopefully we feel confident, we understand how to navigate our graph. Hopefully we feel confident in understanding how we're adding dots and lines to create our line graph for our 2 variants. Hopefully we feel confident that we'll be screenshotting our final product to put into the graphing section here in our overall document. There's the graphing section there. If you have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, good luck.